Takia's Kucherov injury stems from a groin injury he first suffered in the first game versus Columbus in 2020.
Holy shit.
That may not have healed properly, may take some time to know complete damage and best course of action. Hopeful for the Lightning that the ballpark is 10 weeks and not the full season.
Wow.
That's insane.
This is the toll of the Stanley Cup, by the way. Like, everyone's, they're just LTIR in it. Like, it's a built-in part of their strategy now. No. Competing for the Stanley Cup ruins your body. That's why doing it twice is
It's hard.
so ridiculous.
Yeah.
So unattainable. And why so many players who do end up doing it are never the same again.
Tell me the Lightning are going to call the Sabres about Jack Eichel. Come on.
Yeah, no, it's looking more realistic.
Come on. You guys thought it was crazy.
I did, because there wasn't a path forward, and now there is.
The other thing is another person who's out 10 weeks minimum, which sucks, is Nick Robertson.
What did he do, man?
He broke his tibula, because your fibula is the biggest bone. The tibula is the second biggest.
I know. I meant, like, what did he, like you step on a voodoo doll?
I don't know. And it's a shame,
That's
because you got two seasons where he starts literally game 1 or game 2 with an injury, and the pandemic. So his development hasn't been what it should be, right? He hasn't had time on the ice. He hasn't had access to the same sort of things that you would have in normal time. It's a bummer. Games.
In games against peers. Like, that's what's so important about junior hockey. He was the best goal scorer in junior hockey, and he had another full season of being that ahead of him. Nope. Not anymore. Not anymore. You're not allowed. Okay, well, I'm going to play in the NHL. All right, cool. Yeah, you look good, and you're hurt. Mm-hmm. And all right, this year's a fresh start, and I'm going to go down to the minors, and that's where I'm going to start, and I'm going to dominate that league, and you're hurt. This poor kid, what'd he do?
I know. But you got to hope that he can come back. Like, Andreas Johnsson was one that, same sort of thing, came back from the injury and was unfreaking believable. And I think he played some games in the playoffs for the Leafs, and then he went down and won the Calder Cup with the Marlies. And I'm not saying that they're comparable in terms of... Wasn't that the year?
No, but you're getting the timeline confused.
Okay, am I? Okay.
Yeah, so he was a really, his story's fascinating. He had the talent of a much lower pick in the draft, but I think his cardio held him back, and he had like undiagnosed asthma or some sort of undiagnosed asthma. Gets that dealt with. Rex. Comes to the AHL. He's looking unreal. He was on like an American Hockey League line with like Nylander and Connor Brown. Like,
it's not fair.
Or like Zach Hyman or something.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't fair at all. One of his first games, whoom, dirty hit.
Dotchin.
No. Dotchin was everybody else. This one was he seriously targeted the Leafs. It was brutal. I think it was a guy named Dan Kelly. He got suspended 10 games for the hit, and Johnsson was concussed so bad he couldn't get on the plane.
Oh.
Right? And his development was shattered for a little bit, and then he built it up until he got that late season call up against the Bruins. Then he was sent down for the Calder Cup, and then the next year he had the brutal injury that kept him out of the lineup for most of the season.
Man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And he's just starting to look like Andreas Johnsson again.
Like now.
Yeah, now with the Devils. There's another team having a decent little start.
No kidding.
Why do I retain that and not long division?
I don't know. Who cares about long division? We got calculators anyway.
Yeah.
By the way, before we get to the press conference here, because I know we gotta wrap soon. Marc-Andre Fleury and the Chicago Blackhawks. We talked a little bit about the Jeremy Colleton thing, so I hesitate to go back, but they are 0-3-1. Mm-hmm. And I say Marc-Andre Fleury in the Black. He's the new guy. So he
There's a lot of new guys there.
Yeah, there is. Is that the reason? I know it's overreaction season. I'm not trying not to overreact here, but like it doesn't. It's the way they're losing, right? It's not that they're losing. It's the way they're losing.
Yeah, there was a play. It was Seth Jones gave it to someone at the point. I don't know who that someone was, but they gave it away, and I was torn between you can't do that, and that's why the goal went in, and what is Fleury doing there? It's I don't remember who it was, but they're like, oh, just you wait. Fleury playing behind Vegas's defense is very different than Chicago's. There's a lot of, we were talking about numbers and scoring chances and how I don't trust some and You know, there's a lot of that out there. A lot of hockey guys thought the Blackhawks were going to be awesome defensively. And maybe they will be. Maybe it'll click. But a lot of very smart people were like, look out, this team might be dog shit. And I tell you what, early returns are dog shit. They might be fixed by a coaching change. I don't know. But Seth Jones is a fascinating case study in the NHL. So many people think he's so good, and so many people think he's so bad. No one's like, Seth Jones, okay. And his extension does not kick in until next year. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's exactly like the storyline I'm looking at with this team is what is Seth Jones going to do? Because he's feeling the pressure right now. I saw him in one of the post games and didn't look too happy about the start, which nobody should be.
No.
But like you said, it's literally the two opposite sides are fighting. Everyone one half is like, okay, this guy, he eats up so many minutes. He's a number one defenseman. There's a reason they're paying him all this money. And then there's another community, mainly the analytics community, who are like, Seth Jones is dog shit. And there's no in between. And I want to see where it lands because it's going to be somewhere in between. I want to see what the truth is and how this turns out for the Blackhawks because it could be scary or it could be a nice surprise.
And like, I don't think there should be a thirst to be right about that because when he's bad, people go, see, I told you. And when he's good, see, I told you. Like, no, there is obviously something to learn here with this player because how are both sides so aggressively wrong at times about this one guy?
What's the truth in his contributions to the hockey team?
I would love to know. Like, I would love to just sit down with someone like the biggest Seth Jones fan in the world and be like, what do you see? What is this? And then I'd like to sit down with a nerd and be like, okay, so I'm seeing him do this. I'm seeing him do that. Why isn't that clicking? There are some players, and it seems to happen to defensemen a lot, who can do a lot. They're talented. They're very talented. And the numbers just are their enemy. Jack Johnson.
You can do a lot without filling up your fancy stats.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Jay Bouwmeester. I don't remember exactly what his possession numbers are, but I remember him being a guy for a number of years where everyone's like, why does he play so much? Why is that your reputation?
Sometimes it was like, how many teams did Jack Johnson have to play for? But we finally were like, okay, so he's not
great. And then he plays for Colorado and scores the nicest goal.
Jack Johnson's still going.
He's still, I know.
That's not a thing that's happened. Like, Jack Johnson's run hasn't run out. It's still going.
But like, Bouwmeester was a guy, like, his reputation, and Seth Jones sort of has it, where like, oh, I'm an offensive specialist. I'm a playmaker. I'm a defensive stalwart. Well, what do you do, Jay? I play 45 minutes a night. Okay, but like, what's your specialty? That.
I eat the minutes.
Nothing really happens on either side.
My special ability is our teams only. The teams I play for only ever have two pairs because there's no need for a third.
And then, how many wins does that contribute to your team? I assume it's a positive metric.
I think it probably would be because if you have a player that's just essentially neutral.
Well, and Seth Jones does that. He is the number one guy who will eat the most amount of minutes for your defense corps.
And the Blackhawks had like Brent Seabrook and Duncan Keith for so long, who were obviously great in their primes. And I have a hard time believing the people who evaluate talent there are all of a sudden so aggressively wrong about this guy. But why does every number stand out as awful?
Yeah.